and if you have some addition at the end of the class, I will be happy to welcome it. So now, let's begin. The result kitchen requires speed, precision, standardization, and safety. In the kitchen, you actually need to be fast. Like, what's the Italian word for fast? I think it's veloce. If I'm wrong, please, Valeria, can you correct me? I think it's veloce. Yes. Anybody that understands the Italian for speed, can you please unmute yourself?
Yes, it's veloce.
Yes, veloce. So yeah, it's like fast. So in the kitchen, in the result kitchen, you have to be fast. You have to be on top of your speed. You have to be precise. You have to know what you're doing. You have to follow the standard. You cannot do something like cook a pasta in a particular way and then prepare it in another way the next minute. No, there has to be a standard that you are following. And you also have to be safe. You have to consider the safety of yourself and also the safety of your colleagues and the people that you are working with. Okay, students entering the barricade must know how to, number one, cut ingredients uniformly. It's a very important step. It's like the basics in the kitchen. You have to actually understand how to cut. Yes, that's always the first thing for newbies. Because when I started working, that was the first thing I was assigned to do. The majority of the time, but yes, you are supposed to cut ingredients uniformly. You have to know how to use a knife. If you are here, you should not be shy of using a knife because you're going to use a knife. You're going to use knives and different tools in the kitchen. You have to understand the kitchen cooking techniques. If you don't really understand it, you'll be shown, but to an extent, you have to understand it. You have to understand how to operate the industrial kitchen equipment because there are big equipment in the kitchen that you have to most times use. And if you don't know how to use it, sometimes it's advisable not to touch it until you have you have been introduced to it, and then you can actually use it as time goes on. You have to understand how to organize your workstation professionally. Whenever you're working in a particular area, maybe you're cutting, how to clean your workstation. Workstation, it's like a space for you. And most times your workstation is not stationary in the kitchen. Sometimes you can be using a particular station and sometimes you can use another particular station. So it can vary, but you have to know how to organize it professionally in a way that it suits you and also is convenient for every other person. This chapter is going to actually provide the technical foundation explained at an academic level but applied in a real results operation. So now we are going into the essential cuts you need to understand. What do I mean by essential cuts? In the kitchen, you have to understand how to cut. That is the first assignment that will be given to any one of you that has just been introduced into the kitchen. If you come into the kitchen new with no experience at all, most times you are being asked to cut. Is there anybody? Do I have any? If you are someone that has experience in the kitchen, I want you to signify by using an emoji. I'm going to see it, I think. Can you please signify? If you have worked in the kitchen, maybe last summer with Agorà before, can you signify? Okay, I have one person. I've seen one person. Is there any other person? Okay. So far, so good. Just one person. Okay, thank you. So, like I said earlier on, if you have been introduced in the kitchen and the star and the chef, because like I told you, there's a barricade in the kitchen, there's like an hierarchy in the kitchen. So if you are being introduced into the kitchen and the chef sees that okay, you're new and you don't really understand the workings of the kitchen and maybe you cannot help with other tasks, you will be assigned to cut. So you have to understand how to cut. Number one, we have like I'm going to be introducing to you 6 major types of cuts. And sometimes they use the names, but sometimes they don't use the names. But you just need to understand how to cut in this particular way. So we have number one, the julienne cut. This is used for vegetables, side dishes, salad, and what have you to garnish your food. Number two, we have the Brunoise cut. They are used for cold buffet and sauces. Um, I have an understanding that most of this you won't understand it until I show you. So I'm going to move directly into the videos I have with me. Please give me a moment because they are all playing at once. Please kindly pay attention. This is very important because this is where your assignment is going to come in for today. You're going to be asked to do a video, a short video, just like this ones. These ones are not up to how many seconds? This is about 20 seconds. Yes, you're supposed to do like a video of like less than 20 seconds and send it to me. Use the link that was provided on the group chat. So now, the first type of cut we're going to be looking into is the julienne cut. It is and it is uneven. So kindly watch. There's no audio, but just kindly watch. I will just play it once and I want you to follow through. Thank you. Okay. So I hope you guys followed. I will try my best to play it again. But just give me a moment. I have to be time conscious because I don't want to use the whole day with our cut videos. Okay. So once more, I'll be playing it again. Right. Okay. So this is it. Okay. So you have a carrot. Most times, what he's doing right, whatever the person is doing is to clean the side, and then you cut thinly, and then you also like cut it again, and then it gives you like a shape of. I don't know if you guys have fried chips before. So this julienne cut is like the shape of chips. When you buy, I don't have the chips with me right here, but when you go to the supermarket and you buy chips like potato chips, not fried, or I know which one. If you go and buy it in Burger King, you see they have like a defined, elongated look, just like this. This it's called the julienne cut. It's for vegetables most times, and sometimes in some cases we have. I don't know for some results, but there are some results that might have the machine or the tools to cut in this way, so you don't have to necessarily cut like this. Most times you don't cut um, carrots in this format. There are tools to be used, and however, there are some vegetables that you can actually cut in this way. So you have to go by yourself and practice this. Now the next one, the Brunis cuts. These are irregular cubes and they equal uneven cooking. So kindly follow me. This is a cucumber. It's being sliced by the side and then it's cut into the julienne cut. But afterwards, you'll notice that it's being chopped into cubic forms. Sorry, what is wrong with this video? Okay, I want to go over it again. Like I said, You first of all cut it into julienne cuts, and then you cut it into tiny cubes. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen a seasoning, a Maggi seasoning. It's always like that in cubes, like this. This is it again. You clean the sides and then you slice and then dice into tiny seasoning. You have to pay attention to the way the knife is being held so as not to cut yourself or harm any other person. If you notice very well, the person in this video is holding the knife in a very, very careful way. So you have to be safe. His finger is not under the knife so as to avoid any form of accident. Okay, you have to practice this by yourself as well. The next one, immiscible cuts, is for large scale production and it's shown as toss. It's a very easy form of cutting. Very, very easy. You can use it for vegetables, mostly vegetables, onions, and what have you. I'm playing it again. So this is the carrots, and then you cut these like big chunks. This is the onions, and then you cut into big chunks as well, and the veggies. See, so it's so far the easiest one because you're not like cutting in cubes or in tiny slices. No, it's very, very easy. Now the next one, the chiffonade cut. So this is majorly for like spinach or any form of leafy form. So you first of all pick your leaves and then you stack them together and roll them like as if you're about to roll a cigar. And then you start cutting. Cut. In a very tiny and thin manner. As shown in the video. Okay, so you can see it like that. It's also very easy if you practice. My head is going chop. So it's easy. Sometimes it's not easy to start cutting in the chop manner at first. It's always not advisable to rush into the chop because you can cut yourself. So first of all, start slowly, and then I'm telling you this because I expect you all to practice at home consciously. Maybe when you are cooking, maybe when you're making vegetable spinach or you're cutting your fruit to eat, consciously practice this type of cuts and notice how fast you can actually be and how much more skillful you improve when using the knife. Once more, let me play this other one so that you can see. You pick the leaves and then you stack them together and you roll them into like a cigar, and then you use your knife to chop to slice it very thinly. Okay, so that's that for this one. Okay, now I move to the next one, the bassinet cut. And you can see this one is the original chips like look. It's much more thicker than the julienne's cut. Julienne's one is actually very kind of thin, but not extremely thin. But the bassinet is very thick and it's for the potatoes. Now the last one for today is the concise. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it in a very Italian manner, but I know I'm pronouncing it in an English manner. So, you first of all remove the skin, and then you slice it, and cut little by little. This is very important because it's mostly used in the resort kitchen, this form of cutting. So you have to actually understand this. And in most cases, we do not clean the skin. We don't cut off the skin like this. You just cut it anyways together. But it might vary depending on the type of result and the chef you are working with. So the most important thing, like I said last week, was to pay attention, listen, have an open ear, because even what I've shown you so far might not be the same method of cutting that they are using in the particular results. So you have to be open to learn, but as well understand how to cut in this manner so that once they show you, you'll be like, okay, and then you just do it exactly the way you're supposed to do it in the particular results. So, so far so good. I've shown you 6 types of cuts, and we'll come back to that. But let's move to other essential methods in the kitchen. We have grilling, we have boiling, we have steaming, we have frying, and we have oven cooking and braising. So now the first one, grilling. It's always involve intense heat. It's fast cooking and high production, and is used for vegetables, meats, and fish. I don't know how many of you here can grill, but I noticed that most guys, I'm not trying to throw shades at the women, but most guys are groomed in a way to know how to grill meat. I don't know if I'm wrong, but most guys aren't grilled to know how to grill chicken, to grill anything. So in the kitchen, one method that is mostly used in the resort kitchen is grilling. And if you don't know how to do it, it's something you can easily watch on YouTube. And if you don't have the time to watch on YouTube yet, when you get to the resort kitchen, open your eyes, and when the chef is working, that is grilling, you learn and you be fast. You don't be slow. You have to learn fastly. And then when you are given any opportunity, you have to show yourself that yes, I can do it. So grilling is one of the cooking methods that is used in the kitchen, and it's critical points that it burns a lot, and there's extreme smoke. I don't know if you have been in a place where you grill something. I don't know how many of you are Muslims here, but I know when you there's the I don't know which festival it is that they have where they slaughter meat and they grill it. Please, Shimit, can you are you a Muslim? What festival?
No, no, I am Christian. Scusa.
Oh, okay. Okay. So please, who is a Muslim here? What festival is it that you grill meat? They cut the ram, I guess, the ram. Do we have any Muslims in the house? Nobody?
Yes, yes, please.
So what festival is it, please?
What is it?
What festival is it? Is it the Ramadan or which one?
Yes, two festivals after Ramadan and one for just a festival without Ramadan.
Okay.
Adha and Fitr.
Hat Fitr. Yes, I might be wrong in the pronunciation, but yes. During those festival, you can agree with me that meat are being grilled, yes. Eating, I don't know if that's the correct word.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so me, although do you take part in that? No.
Mhm.
No? Do you?
Do you?
Do
Yes,
you
what you
take
say?
part? Do you take part in grilling meat as well yourself?
No.
No, okay. So it's a man's job, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you. So yes, it's mostly a guy's part to actually do that. So if you notice when they are doing the preparation, because I actually always also see it when I was in my country, in Nigeria, I usually see them do that. You'll notice there's always like smoke. It's always smoky and intense burning of the meat. And you have to constantly clean the surface because there might be blood, there might be oil everywhere. So it's very intense. Okay. I have a comment. There's a question. What's the difference between the Julian and the Botnet cotton? Okay, we'll get back to that, but let's quickly move on a high space. We'll answer any question you have. You can put it in the comment section, and I'll attend to it immediately after the presentation. Thank you. Okay, so now the second one is boiling. This method is also used for pasta, your buffet pasta, your rice, and your vegetables. This one you should actually know how to do in your house if you don't know how to, but you most likely will be put through in the kitchen as well if you have no experience on how to boil pasta and how to make rice and vegetables. I don't know if any of you can make pasta here. How many of you can boil pasta? I know that's a very ridiculous question, but how many of you can boil pasta? Can you signify? Can I see some emojis flying around if you can boil pasta? No, nobody can boil pasta. This is
Yes,
shocking.
I can. For me, I
Yeah.
can.
No, I want you
Pasta.
to use an emoji to show me that you can actually boil pasta. Like, just show me.
Yes.
Okay, I can see Shiwit. Shiwit can boil pasta. That's nice. Who else again? Nobody. David. David, you can boil pasta. Are you sure? Elizabeth, 3. So out of the class of 18 that we have today, only 3 people can boil pasta. That is wonderful. But it's not very hard to actually boil pasta. And if you don't know how to boil pasta, kindly watch while you are being posted to your hotel on how to boil pasta. And it involves precise timing. I don't know if make any boiling, any form of boiling, if you are not very careful, you can overcook and then it becomes a disaster and it becomes should I call it porridge? Yes, it becomes porridge and very mushy. So you have to be very careful. You have to time when exactly you're supposed to take the pasta or the rice out of the boiling water and drain, and you have your cooked pasta. You also have to be careful with the salt level while you are boiling anything. I understand to an extent that Italians like a little bit of salt in their food, but you also have to be very careful because if you overdo it, it doesn't give a good image to yourself and to the kitchen as a whole. It becomes a disaster. And you have to be careful with handling boiling water because there's a very high risk of burns and the injury might take a while to heal up. So while boiling in the kitchen, you have to be very careful as well. So now there's a difference between boiling and steaming. Steaming is not as intense as boiling. Boiling, you are making sure that whatever you're cooking has to soften and not extremely very too soft, but moderately soft. But however, steaming is just a light form of boiling, not intense. You use it for vegetables, for fish, for Asian rice, for hot holdings of food. So it does not require you to boil in a very high temperature in the way you boil rice. It's much more lighter. And the advantage is that it's healthier, it preserves the color and the nutrients. And you also had perfection for exposed buffet dishes. So now I don't know if any I just want to explain in words on how to steam vegetables. My method can actually be very different from anybody here, and it can actually also differ from the hotel you're going to be working in. But when you're steaming vegetables, what I prefer to use is that yes, I will boil my water and then I don't put my vegetable into boiling water and then boil it together. No. So I boil water to a very certain temperature, and then I have my maybe diced vegetables because I prepare personally some spinach for myself, a spinach sauce, and I use it to eat my Nigerian dish. So while I'm making my veggies, I don't want it to lose color. I don't want it to lose its nutrients because steaming helps your veggies, especially vegetables, to actually also retain the nutrients. When you overboil, you lose the color, you lose the nutrients and every other thing. So when you're steaming vegetables, I boil my water and then I dice my spinach in a particular dish and pour the hot water into it and then let it sit for a few minutes, not so long, so as for it not to overcook. And then I sieve it out in cold water and anything. And I have my steamed veggies and then I can make it into sauce. And it preserves the color and nutrients. Yes. So it's steaming is very easy. You really get burnt while steaming. But when you're boiling, yes, there's a very high risk. Number 4, we have another one called deep frying. You use this for fries or any mixed fried items, and the equipment that is being used is 10 to 20 liters industrial fryers. I think I showed that last week, but I'll show it again. The critical point is that oil must be changed regularly. Mostly females are not allowed in this section of the kitchen because it's high risk, and most females are in the pasta section, boiling pasta, steaming, baking, cotton, yes, because deep frying is a very high risk. Although we love our men, yes, David, we love you, George, we love you, and we don't want you to get hurt, but mostly they are the ones that get to work in this part of the kitchen because they, I guess, they are more careful, I guess. We are also very careful, but to preserve our beauty and elegance, we have to move to other parts of the kitchen. So, like, they are the ones in charge of changing the oil mostly, and there's always a risk of burning and carbonized residues. So, like, when you are assigned to this part of the kitchen, you have to be very careful because hot frying oil is not a joke. I don't know if any of you have been burnt before by maybe hot water or fried oil. It's always very bad. I remember one time in my home country, I was um, I was I was to take my shower, and the water to be used was hot water. It was a very boiled water. The water was very, very hot. Mind you, in my own part of the country where I grew up, like there was no like regulator for the shower to like make sure it's warm, cold, like how we have it in Europe here. So I just had a boiled water in the bucket and I mixed it with like cold water to like cool down, not knowing that it was not yet ready to be used. And as soon as I poured the water, wow, I was amazed. And till today, I still have a little dark scar right on my shoulders to show for that. So both boiling and deep frying. Deep frying, I also have someone that encountered the accident and it was bad. Very, very, very bad. Because it takes a very, even after it has healed, sometimes your skin, depending on the kind of person, your skin might still be itching and sometimes turn hot by itself, even after it has surfacely healed. So you have to be very careful. Our guys, if you are assigned to this particular part of the kitchen, you have to be very careful. It's not a place where you go and play and joke. That's why I said in the kitchen you have to be like you say little words and you do what you have to do fast. It's not a place where you go and be joking and be pushing each other. You're gonna fry like the chicken that you're frying. So you have to be very, very careful. Um, the next part again we're looking into is the oven cooking. And yes, sometimes it's either the male or the female that might be assigned to this part. Its function is to steam, to dry it, combined, perfect regeneration, is used for meats, vegetables, baked pasta, fish, lasagna, or anyone, what have you. So it's oven. I don't know how many of you have used the oven before. Used the oven for different things. Used to make pasta and pizza. Yes, for example. So you can bake pizza, can bake cake, you can bake pasta. Yes, vegetables, meat, and fish, turkey. Yes, and the critical point is when you set it in the wrong way, you have a burnt offering, and it's very essential to also clean the oven. And the oven in the resort kitchen is different from the ones you have in your hostels right now or wherever you. It's bigger and it's much more industrialized. And you have to be careful, like I said, because when you set the wrong setting, if you're supposed to bake at maybe 360, don't let me say 320, that's too much. Maybe like 100, and use 320, and you're gonna have a very burnt food, and it's not gonna be nice at all, especially because of the fact that in the kitchen you have to work with timing and precision. Do not do oversabi. My chef said I should use 100 degrees Celsius. But me, because I want it to be fast, fast, veloshe, veloshe, I want to use something different. And then you have a burnt food. No, it's not nice and it's not a good image to the kitchen because what if it's like the very minute you need it, like right now? Maybe you're supposed to bake for 20 minutes, and because you wanted it in a very fast way, you baked under like 10 minutes, and then you have a burnt food. The food, you have to like correct what you have made, the mistake you have made. So you need like an extra 10 minutes again to be able to do what you're supposed to do that you should have done in the first 20 minutes. So you have to be careful with the settings and not do it wrong. Because I also, yes, I have experience in that. The reason I'm like emphasizing on this is because I don't know how many of you have baked or used the oven to make pizza before. So when I used the oven to make pizza, there was a time I set the timer, not even the temperature, the timer. I set the timer to like 20 minutes. But when making pizza, you're to use the setting of 5 to 10 minutes, thereabouts. And then if you notice it's not well cooked, you can add like maybe 2 minutes or so. I used like about 20 minutes and I will say that it was a burnt offering and it wasn't nice at all. So you have to be careful, not just only the temperature, the timing also matters. The last form of method in the kitchen is bracing and slow cooking. This is used for tough meats, stews, and ragu. It's less frequent but essential for team night buffets. You rarely use this form of cooking, but it's also very important in the kitchen. But use it for tough meats. Most times the chicken we have are not tough, so you don't need slow cooking. The pork in the kitchen too, not necessarily slow cooking. Because most times in the resort kitchen, I don't know about other resorts, but you make use of pork most times. But you also use chicken on rare days. And most of the meats in the kitchen are not tough, so you don't always use the slow cooking. So that is all for the methods in the kitchen. We have grilling, boiling, steaming, deep frying, oven cooking, slow cooking. So now let's move on to the next thing for today. The types of utensils every student must know how to handle. Number one, the knives. The knives is very important, being that we have different shapes and sizes of knives. We have the small ones, we have the very big ones, like the ones, this is like the medium size in the kitchen. We have the ones that are like rectangular and different types. So you have to be conversant with the types of knives you have in the kitchen. And the names are here listed, but I want to advise that in the kitchen, everybody, I don't think I should make it compulsory, but mostly in the resort kitchen, everybody is advised to have their set of knives. And I checked yesterday, was it yesterday? Or during the week, I checked in a very cheap and affordable store called Pepco. I don't know if any of you have Pepco in your location, but Pepco is known for selling affordable items. So, like the knives, I saw a set of knives for like €5, and I was like, wow, because I remember buying just one knife in another location for like €5. So, like, you can easily get a set of good knives for yourselves in any affordable store. Make sure they are very good as well. They have to be very good. And if you cannot, no problem. You most likely will be given knives in the kitchen. But it's also good to have like a set of knives. Let me, because I remembered also research. I'll show after the class, not now. The types, like the way the set of knives are being used, like the way they look like. You have to also stack them up in your own personal bag. I don't think it's called a bag, but it's like a knife bag like that for yourself. So it's also important to have knives. So if you have like a pair of like 4 knives, different shapes, the important ones that are listed here, the chef's knife, the paring knives, the filleting knife, the serrated knives, it's fine. You don't have to have all the knives. No, you don't have to have everything. But you have the major ones that you can use in the kitchen. There's a big one, there's a medium one, there's a tiny one. And even if it's just two, if you have just two, it's fine. Just have it to yourself. So number one type of utensil you must know how to handle is the knife. If you don't know how to handle the knife, start practicing now. Even if you don't have anything to cut, just go and buy carrots in the grocery store. Buy carrots, buy veggies, start cutting them, and you will notice that you get used to knives. Then you can also watch other videos on how to cut using knives. Very important. You will still be taught most likely, but it's good to have a little bit of experience for you to be very fast. The next type of utensils to know how to use is the cotton board. And we actually have different colors of the cotton boards that is used in the resort kitchen. And we will go into that later, but not now. And the cotton board is different from what we know because in our private lives, we have cotton boards and they are usually very small and wooden most times. But in the resort kitchen, they are very big and most times they use the plastic ones and they have a way to make them to not slip and you have to understand how to use them in the kitchen. So like some cotton boards don't have the effect of they don't have the ability not to slip. Sometimes they can slip off the surface you are using. So there's one trick that we used in my resort hotel while I was working. So when you're using maybe a plastic cotton board, because that's what we use, but it's a very thick and big, wild cotton board, you get paper towel. I don't know if you know what a paper towel is, like a bigger tissue roll, very long one like this. So you roll it like maybe 4 times or 5 times is fine. And then you wet it with water. Don't soak it in a very terrible way, but you wet it with water so a reasonable effect. And then you place it on the surface where you want to put your cotton board, and then you place the cotton board on top of it. You will notice it will not slip, it will grip it perfectly on the surface. So the next type of utensils we're going to be using in the kitchen, you are going to be using, is the clothes and sanitizer. After cutting and cooking and every other thing, you are going to make use of the clothes and sanitizer to clean the surfaces because you have to keep your surfaces clean. It has to be spotless for the next use because sometimes you cook twice in a day, you might cook more, but When you want to cook again, for example, in your particular house, in your home, I don't know if some of you are like that, but when you cook, after cooking, most times our mothers at home teach us to clean immediately. Immediately you finish cooking, you clean the surface and you keep it spotless and clean and shining. So if you have a visitor, because this thing I'm saying right now is my grandmother's saying, she's always like, make sure that the place is clean. What if you have a visitor in the next few minutes? And it's true, an unexpected visitor can actually show up. An inspector can actually show up to your hotel, and then you did not clean. That means they might find your hotel or something. So you have to know how to make use of the cloth and sanitizer and how to clean the place. It's very easy. You just like clean using soap and water, and then you sanitize, sometimes using vinegar to clean the oily parts. And your kitchen is spotless. It's a very easy thing, a very easy task to do in the kitchen. The next tools are we have the whisk, the spatula, the tongs, the skippers, and so on and so forth. But the major ones are the main knives, the cutting boards, the cloth and sanitizer. We have other tools that will be used or you will use in your various sections in the kitchen. But these are the major ones that we have. So now this is the industrial equipment I was talking about earlier on. You have here on top here the oven that you use for steaming, regeneration, and so on and so forth. And then you also have the chiller. You use it to like positively chill your food or negative chilling. So the rule of HACCP is that you chill between 90 degrees to 3 in 90, 90 minutes. So this is the image of the blast chiller. The blast chiller is not really hard. You just use to chill. But the oven is where the work is being done. You make your lasagna, you make different kind of steaming your veggies and so on and so forth. Or to when I mean regenerate, it's just like most times we use the word warming your food, like making it warm again. Okay, so we also have the industrial paste, yes, the pasta cooker. I mentioned it earlier on. This is how it looks like. So you put your pasta inside these net-like things, and then just boiling water that's going to be down here to boil your pasta. They're always large tanks, 20 to 40 liters capacity, and they're it's mostly in all results. It's essential in all the results. We have cutters, we have food processors, we have slicer. They're used for fast and processing and large batches. Like I said earlier on, sometimes your carrots are not being cut with your knives. We have large cutters that can actually do that, slice them very easy. You'll be shown how to use them if you don't know how to use it. And don't be scared if you make mistakes. Everybody's prone to making mistakes. You're gonna be fine. Just don't try as much as possible as not to harm yourself or any other person in the kitchen. And then the last one is the dishwasher. Mostly, most of you are not going to be working in this section, but just to have an idea. So we have the dishwasher, it's always big, and it's literally not for everyone here. Yes. So your workstation can look like this, and you must be ready in order and very neatly kept. Your workstation has to be very clean. And if it's not clean at the very moment, you have to make sure you make preparation to clean it. You have to have your cutting board, your knives, your prepared vegetables or ingredients, clean trays, waste bin. It might not be a waste bin, but there's a place where you like trash everything, clean clothes, and a very sane mind. So working in the kitchen, like I said, is not ABC. It's a lot of pressure, stress, and veloce movements. You have to just be ready. and prepared every time. And then now we have on to the next thing, technical errors that you can actually face in the kitchen. Number one, cutting too slow. Cutting too slow will affect everybody because there's always a timeline for us to all deliver in the kitchen. And then if you are too slow with your work, it will slow down some other processes. For example, if I give David to task to cut veggies for me, and I want to use the veggies in a particular dish. I'm like a main chef and I need to prepare a particular dish, and then you are being slow. The dish will not be prepared on time. It will also affect the timing of like when the food will be available on the buffet menu. So everything all works in line together and we must not be slow. That's very important. And one of the technical errors we can face in the kitchen is cutting too slow. Constant disorder. You're not orderly. You're mixing, maybe mixing things you're not supposed to mix together. It can cause a technical error. Using a dull knife. If you notice your knife is very dull, it's not sharpened, it's not cutting as sharp as you want it to cut, you have to sharpen it. There are things you can use in the kitchen to sharpen your knives. The method I'm about to mention is not always advisable, but yes, there are tools to use to sharpen your knives. Let me leave that out of it. Number four, mixing up cutting boards. Sometimes you can use different type of cutting board, and sometimes you can use a particular cutting board for something. Number five, overloading the oven. Just because you want to be veloce doesn't mean you should overload the oven and make it too much. And then maybe some dish will not be cooked and some will be cooked and then it's a very big mess. Number six, poor regenerating. You are to regenerate a meal and you're not doing it well. One part of it might be cold and another part might be very hot. So it's a technical error. Number seven, leaving the food uncovered. A particular dish is supposed to be covered, you're leaving it uncovered, it's a technical error. Not checking temperature is also a technical error. So now we're moving to the practical assignments I want everybody to actually give me today. So yes, I want you to practice your cutting and time how fast you can cut using the different types of cuts that's been shown today. You can say, okay, maybe when preparing spinach, cut like 1 kg of vegetables under 10 minutes. And cutting vegetables should be fast. You should be fast and you must be uniform in a very nice way. And also try some dressings by yourself. You can check online and make a avocado toast on your bread with this type of look. You can bake. You can try to bake pizza or bread as a view. If you have an oven in your hostel, you can also try to see if you can continuously grill for 30 minutes non-stop by yourself if you have a grill at home. So now your assignment for today, kindly listen very, very well. I want you to create a salad meal prep idea, just like what we have like this in this on the screen. You can maybe choose this one, but don't choose this one. Yes, don't do this or this or this. I just want you to be creative. But while being creative, I want you to make use of the different types of cuts that we mentioned today in today's class. The Julian cuts, the Brunel cuts, the Miprox, and so on and so forth. So maybe you can make like a salad, like a grape. You use your grape and then you use this particular cut. You also use your Julian's cut and you use carrots. You mix it with which other type of fruits do we have? Watermelon, and you use watermelon, and you use this Brunix cut. I don't want to like restrict us to using a particular fruit, but be very creative with whatever you're doing. You have to do a short video of the very short video, not a very big video. You can see these are just 20 seconds video. So you do your different types of chords. Maybe just pick 3 chords that is convenient with you. 3 chords that you can see on your screen right now. Pick 3 chords, then you cut your vegetables or whatever you are doing in this type of chords. Make a short video, maybe 20 seconds, and that adds up to be 60 seconds video. That's 1 minute. You upload it to the Google form that I sent to you, and you send it back to me. That is the assignment for today. And thank you, everybody, for staying to the end of today's class. And